What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Nick Diaz recently broke down what he believes was Jack Della Maddalena's biggest technical mistake in his fight against Islam Makhachev, offering a blunt but insightful critique rooted in grappling fundamentals. Diaz, who has returned home and resumed consistent training, was teaching bottom escapes alongside Jake Shields when the topic of the fight came up. From Diaz's perspective, the issue wasn't bad luck or Islam's dominance alone. It was a fundamental lack of understanding about how to escape and regain position on the ground. Diaz explained that while many fans felt sympathy for Della Maddalena, he didn't share that sentiment. In his view, this was a clear learning moment. He emphasized that at the elite level, especially in a title fight, fighters must understand why they're being controlled, not just accept it. According to Diaz, Della Maddalena failed to recognize how Islam was passing and maintaining control, and more importantly, how to stop it. He pointed out that Makhachev isn't a fighter who rushes submissions from guard. Instead, Islam is methodical. He passes, settles, and applies relentless top pressure. Diaz stressed that the real question is not why Islam stayed in control, but why Della Maddalena allowed himself to remain stuck there for round after round. Diaz highlighted the importance of leverage, calling it the missing piece in Della Maddalena's game during that fight. He explained that proper use of the knee as a frame is critical to breaking pressure and creating space. By inserting the knee, disrupting balance, and systematically breaking control, a fighter can begin to escape. From there, underhooks and arm positioning become essential tools, but none of that was executed effectively. What frustrated Diaz most was watching a fighter with an undefeated record compete in a 5-round title fight against one of the best fighters in the world without making those necessary adjustments. To Diaz, it wasn't just a technical failure. It was a misunderstanding of high-level grappling strategy. Ultimately, Diaz's critique wasn't meant as an insult, but as a harsh truth. At the championship level, ignorance of leverage, frames, and escape mechanics isn't forgivable. If a fighter wants to compete with someone like Islam Makhachev, they must fully understand not just how to survive on the ground, but how to get up. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all our latest content. Moving on to another news. The idea of Khamzat Chimaev stepping up to light heavyweight to face Alex Pereira has quickly gained traction, and some respected voices in the MMA world believe it could be a serious problem for the reigning champion. Chimaev has made it clear that he's open to the challenge, even publicly calling for a showdown with Pereira on a potential White House card in June. While the fight may sound surprising on paper, former 2-division UFC champion Henry Cejudo believes the stylistic matchup heavily favors Chimaev. Speaking on a recent episode of the Pound for Pound show, Cejudo explained that while Chimaev still needs to defend his middleweight title, a move up to light heavyweight could make sense down the line. In Cejudo's view, once Chimaev handles his obligations at 185 pounds, a fight against a top contender at 205 would be a logical step before eventually challenging Pereira. Stylistically, Cejudo sees this as a strong matchup for Chimaev due to one key factor: grappling. He emphasized Chimaev's elite top control, discipline, and relentless pressure, pointing out that these attributes have consistently troubled even the most dangerous strikers. According to Cejudo, Chimaev's ability to dictate where the fight takes place would be the deciding factor. Cejudo went even further, stating that he would favor Chimaev 100% in a potential matchup with Pereira. He revealed that he had discussed the fight with Jon Jones, who also highlighted Chimaev's freakish strength. Chimaev's physical attributes stand out at the weight class. He's roughly the same height as Pereira at around 6'4", and when that size is combined with his grappling intensity, it creates a serious threat. Cejudo made it clear that Chimaev wouldn't make the mistake of trying to strike with Pereira. Instead, he believes Chimaev is smart enough to rely on his wrestling, control, and ground dominance, where Pereira is most vulnerable. That said, the timing of the fight remains uncertain. Chimaev has yet to defend his middleweight title, and Pereira has been vocal about pursuing a potential super fight with Jon Jones. With those factors in play, a Chimaev versus Pereira matchup at light heavyweight doesn't appear imminent, but the discussion alone highlights just how dangerous Chimaev could be across multiple divisions. Moving on to another news. As UFC 324 approaches, the narrative surrounding Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett continues to intensify, particularly around where the fight will actually take place. Pimblett has confidently stated that he plans to keep the fight standing and strike with Gaethje, insisting that there is a clear blueprint for beating him on the feet. He has pointed to Max Holloway's success against Gaethje and believes his own striking is being underestimated. According to Pimblett, everyone expects him to rely on takedowns, but he's determined to prove he can win a striking battle. Justin Gaethje, however, is unconvinced. widely regarded as one of the most dangerous strikers in the lightweight division. Gaethje is certain that Pimblett's plan won't last long once they're locked inside the octagon. In Gaethje's view, the pressure, power, and pace he brings will inevitably force Pimblett to abandon his striking intentions and resort to wrestling. While acknowledging Pimblett's offensive threat and willingness to commit fully to his punches, Gaethje believes that aggression will also create openness. Speaking recently with the New York Post, Gaethje explained that he doesn't pay much attention to pre-fight talk. Instead, he's focused on execution. He stated confidently that he will turn Pimblett into a wrestler, promising that Pimblett will be scrambling for takedowns once the fight unfolds. Gaethje emphasized that Pimblett leaves himself open during exchanges, and that at the highest level, those mistakes cannot go unpunished. With his experience and technical striking, Gaethje believes he's well equipped to capitalize when those openings appear. Beyond the matchup itself, the fight has also sparked debate due to its stakes. Gaethje and Pimblett are set to compete for the interim lightweight title, a decision that has raised questions about why Arman Tsarukyan was not awarded the opportunity. When asked about the situation, Gaethje admitted that Tsarukyan may be more deserving based purely on merit. However, he pointed to Tsarukyan's late withdrawal from UFC 311 as a key factor in the UFC's decision. Gaethje explained that pulling out of a major event, regardless of the reason, frustrates the promotion, especially given the significant time, money, and resources invested. While serious injuries are unavoidable, the UFC expects reliability at the championship level. Whether Tsarukyan will earn another title shot next remains to be seen, but for now, all eyes are firmly on Gaethje versus Pimblett at UFC 324. Moving on to another news. Actor Matt Damon recently shared a memorable and humorous story about unexpectedly meeting UFC legend Henry Cejudo during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. Damon used the moment to highlight how often people misjudge what tough individuals actually look like, especially when it comes to elite combat sports acts. Damon explained that many people carry mental caricatures of fighters, imagining them as loud, aggressive, or physically intimidating at all times. In reality, he noted, many MMA fighters are some of the kindest, most approachable people you'll ever meet. He recalled attending a UFC event in Los Angeles, likely at the Staples Center, where he was backstage speaking with a UFC lawyer about Conor McGregor. As he listened to his story, a man casually approached them, dressed in khaki pants, a blue button-up shirt, and glasses. At first glance, Damon admitted he barely registered the man's presence. He appeared small, unassuming, and looked more like a business professional than a world-class fighter. It wasn't until someone introduced him, "Matt, do you know Henry?" that Damon realized he was standing next to Henry Cejudo. That's when the reality hit. Damon joked that Cejudo could absolutely wreck him if he wanted to, despite giving off no outward signs of intimidation. He pointed out that Cejudo is exactly the type of person someone foolish might try to pick on, simply because he doesn't project aggression or dominance. Damon laughed as he acknowledged that this is often how people learn hard lessons, by underestimating someone who doesn't feel the need to advertise their toughness. The conversation expanded into a broader observation about confidence and security. Damon agreed with Rogan that truly capable individuals rarely feel the need to prove themselves through bravado. He compared elite fighters to special forces operators, noting that real strength is usually quiet. Those who are secure in their abilities tend to be calm, friendly, and respectful. Damon praised Cejudo not only for his accomplishments, but for his humility and kindness. He described the interaction as disarming and refreshing, saying it felt almost generous that someone so capable would be so genuinely warm. Ultimately, Damon used the story to reflect on how misleading appearances can be, and how meaningful it is when we're reminded that strength, character, and confidence often come in unexpected forms. Moving on to another news. Merab Dvalishvili has revealed that a highly anticipated matchup with Petr Yan will not be taking place on the rumored White House card, citing geopolitical complications as the primary reason. In a recent interview, the bantamweight contender explained that while a trilogy fight with Yan is very much part of the UFC's long-term plans, the location and timing of the bout have already been ruled out. According to Dvalishvili, the UFC has assured him that he is next in line for a title opportunity. As part of those discussions, the promotion also confirmed that a third fight between him and Petr Yan is expected to happen in the future. However, Dvalishvili stated clearly that the bout will not take place at the White House event, reportedly scheduled for June. The reason, he explained, has nothing to do with rankings, injuries, or negotiations. It comes down to nationality. Dvalishvili said the UFC informed him that staging a fight involving a Russian athlete at the White House would be impossible under the circumstances. With Yan being Russian, the promotion has effectively taken that option off the table. This revelation adds another layer to the ongoing conversation surrounding surrounding the UFC's rumored White House card, which has already generated massive attention due to its historic and symbolic nature. While the UFC has not officially announced the event or its full lineup, the idea of hosting fights at such a politically significant venue has raised questions about logistics, optics, and international representation. For Dvalishvili, the news appears to be more about timing than disappointment. He made it clear that the trilogy with Jan is still expected to happen, just not at that specific event. Their rivalry already carries plenty of history, intensity, and competitive stakes, making it one of the most compelling matchups in the bantamweight division. By confirming that he's next for the belt, Dvalishvili also signaled confidence in his position within the division. Whether that title opportunity comes against Jan or another opponent remains to be seen, but the UFC's message to him seems clear. His moment is coming. While fans may be disappointed that the Jan trilogy won't unfold on such a high-profile stage, the fight itself hasn't been cancelled, only relocated. As the UFC continues shaping its biggest events of the year, Dvalishvili versus Jan remains a key piece of the bantamweight puzzle, just not one destined for the White House spotlight. Moving on to another news. Derrick Lewis has revealed what he believes is the key factor behind his recent physical transformation, claiming that the UFC has allowed him to use peptides that have dramatically improved his recovery and overall performance. Recent photos of Lewis circulating online quickly caught fans' attention, showing the heavyweight contender noticeably leaner and appearing to be in some of the best shape of his career. During a recent episode of the Beast and the Cowboy podcast, Lewis openly discussed how he's feeling both physically and mentally, making it clear that he's experiencing a major upswing. According to Lewis, everything has clicked at once: his conditioning, mindset, and recovery, leading him to confidently state that he's currently in the best shape of his life. Lewis credited peptides provided through the UFC for playing a significant role in that transformation. He explained that taking them daily has made a noticeable difference in how his body feels, particularly when it comes to recovery. In his words, the improvement has been so dramatic that it's changed the way he trains, allowing him to push harder without feeling the usual wear and tear. Lewis's longtime coach, Bob Perez, echoed those sentiments and offered further insight into how the peptides have impacted training sessions. Perez described Lewis's recent performances in the gym as extraordinary, saying he looked like a video game character in how smoothly and efficiently he was moving. According to Perez, Lewis's mental clarity stood out just as much as his physical condition. Perez explained that Lewis was responding instantly to coaching cues and adjustments, something that immediately caught his attention. He also highlighted Lewis's recovery between intense training rounds, calling it ridiculous compared to what they were used to seeing. After completing demanding 5-round simulations, Lewis still had enough energy to push for additional work, including heavy bag sessions, something Perez admitted surprised him. Typically, Lewis would dial things back later in the week, especially on lighter training days. However, this time, Lewis insisted on doing more, and his body responded without issue. Perez said he was genuinely blown away by how quickly the peptides appeared to take effect and how consistently Lewis was able to perform at a high level. Whether this new approach translates into improved results inside the octagon remains to be seen. But from Lewis's perspective and his team's observations, the change has already been a game changer. Moving on to another news. Francis Ngannou delivered a lighthearted but eye-opening lesson on the realities of combat sports during a recent encounter with popular streamer IShowSpeed at the AFCON final. The former UFC heavyweight champion crossed paths with the internet star ahead of the match, and their brief interaction quickly turned into a viral moment that reminded viewers just how dangerous elite fighters can be, even when they're barely trying. Speed, who has previously flirted with the idea of stepping into celebrity boxing, appeared excited to meet Ngannou and openly expressed interest in learning how to fight. The two spoke casually about training, with Speed suggesting he wanted to learn boxing and combat skills for real. Ngannou, calm and good-humored, listened carefully before warning him that fighting is no joke and that it genuinely hurts. To illustrate his point, Ngannou lightly tested Speed with a controlled body shot. Despite clearly pulling his power, the punch had an immediate effect. Speed crumpled to the ground almost instantly, stunned by the impact. The moment drew laughter and applause from those nearby, while Ngannou remained relaxed and smiling, clearly aware of how little force he had actually used. Afterward, Ngannou jokingly explained that what Speed felt was only a small taste of what a professional heavyweight punch feels like. He emphasized the vast difference between trained fighters and everyday athletes or entertainers, making it clear that stepping into a combat sport without proper preparation can be a harsh wake-up call. Ngannou even joked that while he could easily take Speed's money in a fight, the same wouldn't be true the other way around. Speed, still recovering from the shock, laughed off the moment and promised he would one day get his revenge. The exchange was playful, but the message landed clearly. Combat sports demand respect, discipline, and serious training. The viral clip quickly spread across social media, with fans praising Ngannou for keeping the interaction safe while still making a powerful point. It served as a reminder that fighters like Ngannou operate on an entirely different physical level, and even a light punch from a world-class heavyweight can be overwhelming. What started as a fun celebrity interaction ended as a memorable lesson in the true power of elite combat acts.